Hello, this is the news at midday on Ogun State Television, Abeokuta. I am Mojisola Sholaja. You most welcome. We're starting with this sad one. 3 people died and many injured when a 33,000 liters fuel tanker exploded along GT Bank, Kuto Axis in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogubanwo, officers and men of the fire agencies, Trace, and the Nigeria Police were on the ground to combat the spread. We'll bring you details in subsequent bulletins. Moving to other stories, about 43 million national identity numbers have been submitted by telecommunication companies to the National Identity Management Commission for verification in order to have them registered with the respective subscriber identification models, SIM cards. Also, the deadline for telephone subscribers with NINs to register their SIMs with the identity numbers elapsed today, January 19, 2021. Operations have said that SIMs with unlinked submitted NINs will not be blocked. It also gave 6 weeks extension for subscribers with NIN from December 30, 2020 to February 9, 2021. But many organizations have called for further deadline extension or outright suspension of the NIN registration process due to the large crowds who are yet to have their NINs. Nigeria on Monday recorded 1,617 new cases of the novel coronavirus, according to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. In a late-night tweet, the NCDC also reported additional 14 deaths, bringing total number of casualties from the virus to 1,449. Till date, Nigeria has now recorded 112,004 COVID-19 infections with 89,939 cases successfully treated and discharged. Almost half of Monday's cases were recorded in Lagos with 776 infections. Other states with new cases include Kaduna 147, Kwara 131, FCT 102, Plateau 78, Edo 59, Ogun 53, Osun 45, Rivers 37, Taraba 36, Bayelsa and Gombe 11 each, and Borno 2. Nigeria has witnessed a surge in new cases since last December, when the federal government announced a second wave of the pandemic. To education now. As primary and secondary schools in Ogun State resumed for the second term of the 2020-2021 academic session, the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, has called on teachers to be more proactive in sensitizing the students on the existence of the second wave of COVID-19 and necessary precautions to curtail the spread. Professor Arigbabu made this call while monitoring schools' resumption to ascertain the level of compliance of COVID-19 guidelines by teachers and students in the state. Adebola Oshomoji reports.
When you are going out, wash your hands, and also if you are able to avoid to buy the sanitizer, make sure that you use it.
In line with the federal government's directives on schools' resumption, amidst the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic in the country, primary and secondary schools in Ogun State have resumed for the second term 2020-2021 academic session. The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has dispatched teams to monitor schools' resumption. The team, led by the commissioner in the ministry, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, visited Baptist Girls College, Abeokuta Grammar School, Lishabi Grammar School, Idiaba, Ebenezer Grammar School, Iberekodo, Gateway Secondary School, and African Church Grammar School, all in Abeokuta, the state capital. The visit was aimed at ensuring proper accountability of teachers' records and adhering strictly to COVID-19 protocols.
We want to see to what extent we have adhered to the directive given by the Ministry of Education.
Assuring their readiness in the discharge of their duties, some principals promised age-free academic activities.
You will see, looking at the corridors here and there, you see our soap and water, and you see the hand sanitizer prepared for students. So on health ground, we are prepared.
Beginning of every subject, at least for about 5-10 minutes, we still have to educate them and make sure that they use the nose masks. We have buckets for water provided by the government, washing hand soap and sanitizers.
Professor Abayomi Arigabu stressed the need for mutual cooperation between the teachers and parents in curtailing the spread of COVID-19 in schools.
Junior school, senior school, primary, all schools will resume open by 8 o'clock and close by 2 o'clock. It's full resumption. I'm using this opportunity to appeal to parents to provide the necessary facilities at home that will make the children to be healthy. In school, we have provided. So when they get home, at home also, this needs to continue. If we give them facility for washing of hands with soap and water in school, it should continue at home because we are not going to go to their homes. So it should continue at home. They should encourage them also to put on their face masks and avoid light gatherings.
He stated that government will not relent in taking the education sector to an enviable height. Adebola Oshomoji, OGTV News.
Towards sustaining the high standard of education in public secondary schools, the Ogun State Teaching Service Commission has inducted 94 principals to take up schools administration. The induction ceremony took place at Lishabi Grammar School, Abeokuta. Shemilori Makonju reports.
In repositioning public secondary schools and ensuring that education remains the bedrock for advancement of Ogun State, the State Teaching Service Commission has inducted 94 principals for the smooth running of public secondary schools in the state.
This administration places the education sector at the core of its agenda. The nationalization of these, the teaching corps, who is to impart knowledge, must be highly equipped and encouraged to play this role efficiently and effectively.
Considering the critical roles of principals, the new inductees were charged to see the dynamism associated with school management.
The charge to them is that they need to be proactive, they need to be diligent, they need to be effective and efficient. More so in this pandemic period that we are. They have to take charge and take responsibility.
And COPS President Dr. Ayodele Womiloju charged them to be guided and understand professionalism attached to their new tasks.
As you come into the fold, be determined to make great impact in your schools. This you will achieve through your dynamic personality and unyielding commitments to the achievement of educational goals.
The new inductees appreciated the government.
I thank God for giving us the opportunity to get to the top and the peak of our career in life. God, the Lord that has helped us to this level, will surely see us through. It is a simple thing. It is improving the standard of education in Ogun State.
As principals, what we are left to do is to see that we put in the best to, improve the infrastructure of the school with all facilities and all that is in our capacity within the community with the help of the PTA, the students, and the teachers.
High point of the event was the administration of oaths conducted by Ogun State TESCOM Chairman, Evangelist Olamileko Ifede.
To uphold the ethics of the profession.
I promise to uphold the ethics of the profession.
Shemilori Makonju, OGTV News.
Away from education. As part of its quasi-judicial function towards promoting peace and tranquility in all parts of Ogun State, the State House of Assembly, through its Committee on Trade and Investment, has directed the leadership of the various associations in wood business to be peaceful among themselves until the conclusion of the pending court cases involving the two parties in relation to revenue collection. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Kemi Oduwole, issued the directive during the consideration of a petition at the instance of one of the associations which had the State Commissioner for Forestry, Mr. Tunji Akinsi, in attendance. Details in this package.
Chairman House Committee on Trade and Investment, Honorable Kemi Oduwole, while addressing the parties on the issue of revenue, noted that legislative arm remained committed to exploring all measures towards sustaining the existing peaceful atmosphere to boost investments and businesses in the state. Hence, the need to accommodate the petitioners after all the court cases had been resolved. The committee chairman, in company of Honorables Olushola Adams, Kunle Shobukola, and Ashur Oladunjoyi, also counseled the parties to immediately resolve their differences to allow the ministry to reconsider the petitioners with a view to accommodating them in the ministry's revenue collection system.
Until determination of what is in the court, whether you decide to withdraw it or we allow the status quo to remain. When you come out of that, then the commissioner has all it takes to resolve the matter. So if anybody is doing anything contrary to what we have agreed with, it will be in open.
Commissioner for Forestry, Honorable Tunji Akinsi, earlier in his submission declared that his ministry has been encouraging the parties to maintain peace in discharging their duties.
First, I need to appreciate the honorable members for their fairness and injustice. We've talked before now, and the same thing I told them is what you have said, and we have not even had any discussion on this before now. Whatever it is, and I told all of them that have come, you are young men, I also want you to partake. Maibu and his group would have eaten so much from the calculations that you have brought to the table. I would appreciate it that they too be part of it, and we have even proposed 70-30 sharing formula before now. The ticket is still with them. I believe that they still hold on to it. I assure you that we will work out a workable solution to this, and will revert to this honorable house as to the agreement that we both reached.
The lawmakers, however, urged the parties involved to maintain peace, adding that the assembly would take drastic action against anyone found to have violated the assembly's directive until the matter is finally resolved.
Let's now bring you details of the tanker explosion in Abeokuta, where 3 people died and many injured.
Tragedy struck in the early hours of Tuesday when a 33,000-litre tanker conveying PMS while trying to ascend the Kuto Bridge lost control due to brake failure, spilling fuel on the road, thereby leading to a fire outbreak. The incident occurred in front of GT Bank Okelewo, where men of the Federal Fire Service, Ogun State Fire Service, Trace, amongst others, were making frantic efforts to combat the inferno.
The tanker, we have 5,000 liters, then 500 is the chemical, likewise the federal as well. They have 5,000, Ogun State Fire Service to have 5,000 liters of water tanker and 500 chemicals.
So we started to do our efforts in making sure that we contain the fire from spreading to the other adjoining structures around, and to ensure that we put out the fire. So far, we've been able to extinguish the fire, as you can see. So rescue effort is on. So what we are doing presently is we are pulling down because we have extinguished the fire.
The Ogun State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Barrister Femi Ogubanwo, sympathized with the families of the victims.
But that's the essence of the fire services in various states, to assist and to work with the state government. So, but let me, on behalf of the governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun MFR, and the government of Ogun State, extend our heartfelt sympathies to those who lost their loved one and properties in this fire incident.
One of the victims recounts her ordeal. There were 3 casualties, with 7 vehicles, 6 motorcycles burnt, while many were rushed to the hospital for medical attention. Shemilore Makanju, OGTV News.
The Ogun State government has commenced the registration of 20,000 vulnerable individuals across its 20 local government areas for free and qualitative healthcare services in government-owned facilities. This was revealed by the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, while monitoring the registration process under the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund at the Primary Health Care Center, Iperu, in Ikenne local government area of the state. Mrs. Koka said the move was in line with the National Health Act of 2014, which established Basic Health Provision Fund for children below age 5, pregnant women, and people above 65 years who cannot afford to pay for health services from their pockets. She said the treatment for the first set of vulnerable will begin almost immediately. She also commended the Federal Ministry of Health for the interest from the 1% consolidated revenue of the Federation to drive the initiative. The Executive Secretary, Ogun State Health Insurance Agency, Dr. Afolabi Dosumu, said his agency had selected 1 beneficiary per household across the wards of the state through a nationally approved social register for indigent people, saying the registration cards for each beneficiary will be processed using the Ogun State Health Insurance System software. To end the news at midday, success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Don't forget that you can watch us live on these platforms: Apple, Roku, Windows, BlackBerry, Facebook, and Android devices. You can also watch live on OGTV website, www.ogtv.com.ng/live. That ends the news at midday. Thanks for watching. Stay with us as we bring you Irene. Good afternoon.
mo kí n pé ẹ káàsán ẹ sì kú iṣẹ́ látàárọ̀. Ìròyìn ọ̀sán la mú wá fún láti iléeṣẹ́ tẹlifíṣàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn nílùú Abẹ́òkúta. Olúwọlé Fátòkùn lóníròyìn yín. Nǹkan bíi nọ́mbà ìdánimọ̀ tó jẹ́ mílíọ̀nù lọ́nà mẹ́tàlélógójì yẹn 43 million ní àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ ìkànsíra ẹni ti fi ṣọwọ́ sí àjọ tó ń ṣètò nọ́mbà ìdánimọ̀ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà fún àyẹ̀wò láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n wà ní àkọsílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú òpó ìpè kó àwọn. Bákan náà, òpin ọjọ́ tí àwọn tó ń lo òpó ìpè lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ fi nọ́mbà ìdánimọ̀ wọn sílẹ̀ kí wọ́n lè so papọ̀ mọ́ òpó ìpè wọn ní òní ọjọ́ 19 oṣù kìíní ọdún 2021 tí àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ yìí sì ti sọ di mímọ̀ wípé àwọn òpó ìpè tí wọn kò bá ní nọ́mbà ìdánimọ̀ ni wọn yóò wọ́gi lé. Bákan náà, ni wọ́n tún ṣe àlékún ọjọ́ fún àwọn tí ó ń lo òpó ìpè láti 30 ọjọ́ oṣù kejìlá sí ọjọ́ 9 oṣù kejì ọdún 2021 ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ilé iṣẹ́ ló ti ń pè é fún kí wọ́n tún ṣe àlékún ọjọ́ yìí tàbí kí wọ́n fi òpin sí ìforúkọsílẹ̀ fún nọ́mbà ìdánimọ̀ látàrí ti àpọ̀jù àwọn èrò tí wọn kò tí ì rí nọ́mbà ìdánimọ̀ náà ṣe. Àjọ tó ń dènà àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà NCDC ni ó tún ti ní àkọsílẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn tó jẹ́ 2,437 ìyẹn 1,617 tí wọ́n ti ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lùgbàdì àrùn kòrónà. Lórí òpó Twitter ní àjọ NCDC ti sọ eléyìí di mímọ̀ ní alẹ́ ọjọ́ Ajé tí wọ́n sì tọ́ka rẹ̀ pé àwọn ènìyàn 14 mìíràn ni wọ́n tún di olóògbé èyí tó mú kí àpapọ̀ iye àwọn tó ti di olóògbé láti pàṣẹ àrùn náà dí díẹ̀ ní 1,449 títí di àkókò yìí ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ti ní àkọsílẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn tó jẹ́ 2,244 102,004 tí wọ́n ti lùgbàdì àrùn náà nígbàtí ó dí díẹ̀ ní 1,900 ìyẹn 89,933 ti rí ìtọ́jú gbà tí ara wọn sì ti le koko. Nǹkan bí ìlàjì iye àwọn tí ó ní àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn náà tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lùgbàdì rẹ̀ ni ó wáyé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó èyí tí í ṣe 4,704 ìyẹn 776. Àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ yòókù ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kaduna tó ní 153 ìyẹn 147. Ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara ló ní 139 ìyẹn 131. Olú ìlú ilẹ̀ wa Àbújá ló ní 120 ìyẹn 102. Ìpínlẹ̀ Plateau ló ní 120 ìyẹn 78. Ìpínlẹ̀ Edo ní 161. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ló ní 53 53. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ló ní 45 ìyẹn 45. Ìpínlẹ̀ Rivers ní 37 ìyẹn 37. Ìpínlẹ̀ Taraba ní 40 36. Ìpínlẹ̀ Nasarawa ní 24 34. Adamawa ní 23 33. Ìpínlẹ̀ Kano ní 26. Ìpínlẹ̀ Delta ní 20. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ebonyi ní 16. Ìpínlẹ̀ Bayelsa ní 11. Gombe ní 11. Nígbàtí ìpínlẹ̀ Borno ní 2. Ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ló ti ń dojúkọ ìpele kejì àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn kòrónà tó lágbára lọ́wọ́ báyìí lẹ́yìn tí ìjọba kéde wípé àrùn ọ̀hún ti wọlé padà ní oṣù kejìlá ọdún tó kọjá. Bí àwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́ alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ àti ti girama ṣe wọlé padà fún sáà kejì nínú ọdún ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ 2020-2021 alábòójútó fún ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ẹ̀kọ́ sáyẹ́ǹsì àti ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ nípìnlẹ̀ Ògùn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Àbáyọ̀mí Arígbàbù ti ké sí àwọn olùkọ́ láti ṣe àlékún akitiyan wọn nípa ṣíṣe ìlanilọ́yẹ̀ fún àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lórí ti ìpele kejì àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn kòrónà àti àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tó yẹ láti dènà ìtànkálẹ̀ rẹ̀. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Arígbàbù pe ìpè yìí lásìkò tó ń ṣe àbójútó ìwọlé padà àwọn ilé ẹ̀kọ́ láti mọ bí wọ́n ṣe tẹ̀lé àwọn ìlànà tó yẹ sí. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Adébọ́lá Ọ̀ṣọ́mọjì mú ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ bọ̀ ẹ gbọ́ lẹ́nu Bọ́lájí Akínyẹmí.
Níbàámu pẹ̀lú àṣẹ ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilé wa lórí ti ìpadàwọlé àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó jẹ́ lásìkò ìpele kejì àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn kòrónà lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ àti ti girama nípìnlẹ̀ Ògùn ti padà wọlé fún sáà ètò ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kejì tọdún ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ 2020-2021. Iléeṣẹ́ tó mójútó ètò ẹ̀kọ́ sáyẹ́ǹsì àti ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ nípìnlẹ̀ yìí ti ní kí àwọn ikọ̀ lọ mójútó ìpadàwọlé àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà. Ikọ̀ tí alábòójútó fún iléeṣẹ́ náà ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Àbáyọ̀mí Arígbàbù léwájú rẹ̀ ṣàbẹ̀wò sí ilé ẹ̀kọ́ Baptist Girls College, Abẹ́òkúta Grammar School, Lísàbí Grammar School, Ìdíàbà, Ebenezer Grammar School, Ìbẹ̀rẹ̀kòdó, Gateway Secondary School, Ìtàyálóde, African Church Grammar School tí ògbọ́n wà nílùú Abẹ́òkúta. Àbẹ̀wò náà ló dá lórí bí àwọn olùkọ́ ṣe wá sílé ẹ̀kọ́ àti bí wọ́n ṣe ti palẹ̀mọ́ láti dábọ̀ ìlànà àrùn kòrónà. Nígbà tí wọ́n ń ṣe ìdánilójú ìgbáradì wọn lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ lára àwọn ọ̀gá ilé ẹ̀kọ́ náà ṣèlérí láti tẹra mọ́ iṣẹ́ dáradára. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Àbáyọ̀mí Arígbàbù tẹnumọ́ ìdí pàtàkì ìbáṣepọ̀ tó dánmọ́rán láàrin olùkọ́ àti àwọn òbí láti paná ìtànkálẹ̀ àrùn kòrónà. Ó ní ìjọba kò ní rẹ̀wẹ̀sì láti gbé ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́ lọ sí ipò àmúyangàn.
ẹ̀yin ará, àwọn tó ní àfojúsùn àṣeyọrí tí wọ́n sì ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó nìkan ní àṣeyọrí wà fún. Nítorí náà má fi àárọ̀ ṣeré nítorí pé ọjọ́ ń lọ. Yóò ṣe é ṣe kò jù báyìí lọ lórí ìròyìn wa fún ti ọ̀sán òní. Ó tún di aago 4 àbọ̀ ìrọ̀lẹ́ kẹ́ tó láǹfààní síròyìn láti àwọn ìpínlẹ̀. Ǹjẹ́ títí ìgbà náà ẹ yáṣẹ́ o.
Ètò Wálé Dàda on OGTV.
Wálé ọmọ dàda, Wálé ní gúdù rẹ̀. Ètò tí gbogbo ayé fẹ́, ètò Wálé Dàda.
Ètò Wálé Dàda on OGTV.
Ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Wednesday ní déédé aago 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ sáago 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ni o.
Ẹ̀fẹ̀, àwàdà, orin, abala àlejò pàtàkì. Òde wo ló ti ṣẹlẹ̀? Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lóde àríyá? Ẹ jẹ́ á wá wọn lọ. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ abala lẹ́ẹ̀ máa jẹ̀gbádùn.